Do you know what? You should really be excited. Welcome back to the West Ham Network. I'm Anton, bringing to you today's West Ham news. Now, the manager situation is drawn a conclusion. The end of one era, one chapter closes as another opens. The one thing we do know is the consistency of one man and one man only, and it's Tim Steidten. He's doing his work behind the scenes for West Ham, and you should be excited because he gets full reins on full control on scouting players and bringing our new squad together. And he has alluded to the fact that he's going to be looking, or rumors have said that he's going to be looking in the leagues that are kind of below the top five in Europe. So, really, what you're saying is you're taking out England, Italy, Spain, Germany, and France, essentially, the French league. And apart from that, then what you do is you look at some of the best talent in the other leagues. It's a little bit very similar to the Brighton model that so many people have always been speaking about. You find diamonds in the rough, and that's not being disrespectful to the rough because those leagues are good within their own rights. But you've got to find the best talent there and try and bring them in. And one of those talents that West Ham have more recently been linked to is this geezer here. His name is Matt O'Reilly, currently playing and plying his trade for Celtic in the Scottish League. Now, we know the situation with Tim Steidten, and he's doing his homework and he's looking at all those players and what kind of players he's looking for. But essentially, it does look like Matt O'Reilly kind of fits that criteria. Now, apparently, West Ham are going to step up our chase to try and bring the Danish international to the club this summer. And it's a reported fee of around £25 million. Other clubs are interested. And if we were to bring him in for £25 million, that would eclipse the record move that Kieran Tierney made, moving to Arsenal back in 2019 from Celtic as well. Now, O'Reilly and Celtic got a hold of the Scottish Premiership crown in that battle of the season against Rangers, and he has really thrived in his role with Celtic. Now, back in January, there was interest from other clubs, in particular over in Spain, but he could be on the way to the Premier League with West Ham taking a very keen interest. Now, it's not just West Ham, other clubs are interested, and he is very familiar with the current head coach, Ange Postecoglou, of course, former Celtic manager, now manager of Spurs, who may be looking at him. It's just whether or not he'll fit the mold of what Spurs are looking for. But with the kind of doubts over Lucas Paqueta, you can easily kind of build that connection to why West Ham would be looking at Matt O'Reilly. Now, he has, in terms of comparison, he's got more of an offensive threat than a box-to-box player, and would add a different type of kind of flair to what Paqueta offers. And he really glides with the ball. He's a really, really clever player, and he's got 19 goals and 18 assists to his name in all competitions this season. And a lot of people might diss the Scottish League, and I've been one of those people my whole life living in Scotland. I've kind of done that, but again, there is a conveyor belt of players that do come through from the Scottish Leagues that absolutely more than capable of stepping up to any of the Premier League or any of the top five leagues in Europe. And like I said, Matt O'Reilly's got 19 goals, 18 assists in all competitions to his name this season. And Brendan Rodgers himself has said to Celtic TV that he's been absolutely phenomenal. And really, in his consistency, I think we lacked anything as a team. It was probably that, but he has been phenomenal. And from his individual perspective and his goal return, I think someone said he had scored his first goal in January of last year. So to look at the numbers now, it's a huge testament to himself at the work he puts in and the focus he puts in every single day at training to improve and be better. That's clearly been rewarded by his teammates and everyone else, and it is massively deserved. Now, what's interesting about Matt O'Reilly is he was in the Fulham youth setup. He was born in London, but represents Denmark. due to his mother's side of the family. And he declared his interest back in 2022, representing the Danish international side, when he stated that when he played for the English youth teams, um, but he took more of a notion to the Danes, and that was it. And he can speak a decent amount of the country, etc. And he's got 2 international caps for them already. In the Fulham youth setup, he did move on to MK Dons, and played really well, playing over nearly 50 games, scoring 10 goals. And it was really his time at Celtic that became the rise of the young player. And do you know what? He's 6'2". He's a little bit. If you think about West Ham's midfield and see where he can fit in, if you think of a mix between Paqueta and Souček, but imagine someone that glides with the ball, that's the sort of player he is. I'm not saying he makes that step into this team and sets the world alight, but I think that they will do the due diligence on a player like this, and I think he could fit that mold really well. Honestly, I've known for a while he's their best player. I've got some friends who are massive Celtic fans who all they do is rave about this guy. And I would be quite excited about the prospect of bringing him in. Now, this is, as we stand, we don't have any inside knowledge on this, but this is what reports are saying, that West Ham are keenly interested at looking at Matt O'Reilly. £25 million could be a steal. That's really the going rate for a player at the top of their level in the Scottish Premiership. That's really the money you need to pay to bring someone in who is at the highest of high in the Scottish Premiership to the Premier League. And if you're wanting to pay that, you're going to have to go out there and get that. But we've got a new regime, and he could be a very good first buy for West Ham. So, Matthew Sean O'Reilly, 23 years old, central midfielder, 6'2", currently plying his trade at Celtic in Scotland, Danish international, young youth England, previous international player, scoring goals for fun, assisting goals for fun in the Scottish League. Do you see him coming to West Ham? Do you like what I've said? If we hear more news on this, we'll start to dig in deep. We'll maybe get a Celtic point of view on the player, but keep an eye on this one for a transfer. Take it easy and come on, you Irons.